Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson Jennings,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Beach,
Yes.
Commissioner Gladney.
Yes.
The motion passed.
On to number 18, which is adjournment. If there is no further business before this meeting, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
AFA.
Commissioner Beach, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Looks like we lost some commissioners, but let's start. Myra, with roll call, please.
Commissioner Beach,
Present.
Commissioner Simmons, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Gladney, Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Windmiller, Commissioner Cox,
Here.
Commissioner Galladay,
Here.
Commissioner Jackson Jennings. You can proceed.
Refresh my memory. We can proceed with 3 members present, commissioners?
Yes, a quorum is not necessary for a committee meeting.
Okay. I have some massive construction taking place about 30 feet outside my front door. It was supposed to take place at noon today, so I will be hitting the mute button frequently. But any public comments, Myra?
No, there were no comments for today's meeting.
Thank you. Item 4, the approval of the minutes of the March 22nd AFA committee open session. Minutes were provided in your package. I need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, I guess. I didn't know that we could do it with 3 people votes.
I know. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item 5, contract modification for the UNUM voluntary employee benefits 1-year rate extension. Dave Tobin, you are up.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, commissioners. I am presenting on agenda item 5, a contract modification for our voluntary benefits program offered through our vendor partner, UNUM. In support of providing access to a comprehensive suite of benefits, we offer employees a completely voluntary set of benefits to cover more individually specific needs. Those additional benefits offered are a critical illness policy, an off-the-job accident policy, permanent life insurance with a long-term care rider, an individual short-term disability or income replacement for our union representative team members. We originally marketed these benefits in 2019, reviewing proposals from 7 vendors, and awarded a 5-year contract to UNUM beginning January 1st of 2020. That contract guaranteed no change in rates for our employees for the entire 5-year period. This voluntary program is 100% contributory on the part of the employee and is funded through payroll deductions. UNUM has offered a 1-year rate extension effective January 1, 2025, with enhancements around certain benefit provisions. To evaluate market conditions to know if this offer would be advantageous to our team members, we engaged our health and welfare plan consultants to do what we call a market check. They examined current pricing and plan offerings of 5 leading voluntary benefit vendors and found that pricing from all other carriers significantly increased compared to the guaranteed rates secured from UNUM. So as such, we are recommending we accept UNUM's 1-year rate extension offer and are asking the Audit Financing Committee, and Administration Committee to approve and forward to the full board to authorize a 1-year extension of this contract. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions for David? I will entertain a motion, please.
Move to accept it.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. It's passed. Thank you, Dave. Item 6, the St. Clair County operating agreements. Tammy Fulbright.
Good morning, Commissioners. In your packet today, you'll find 3 contracts between Bi-State Development and St. Clair County Transit District for the FY 2025 budget. These service and maintenance agreements are for the ATS, bus, and MetroLink operations. The ATS contract is based on rates for actual service performed. The estimated amount of this contract is approximately $1 million. The annual cost for bus and MetroLink service is $26,072,842 and $37,215,656 respectively, for a total of $63,288,498. These contracts are billed in 12 equally monthly payments. We are requesting the committee accept and forward to the board for approval these FY 2025 St. Clair County Transit District operating contracts. We appreciate all the effort and time that was put into these contracts from the management team at St. Clair County and also our team here at Bi-State, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? If not, a motion to approve would be in order.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Thank you. That was easy. At least the vote was. Item 7, 8, and 9. The internal audit departments, Crystal Mesner is up. These are for information only. Item 7 is the follow-up summary for the third quarter. Item 8 is the status report for the third quarter. And item 9 is the state safety oversight status report for the first quarter of the calendar year. Crystal, you are up.
Thank you, Commissioner Beach. Good morning, Commissioners. My first item here, number 7, is the third quarter follow-ups. As you can see, 23% of those corrective action plans have taken place and been closed out. We have 77% open. There are no overdue follow-ups at this time. The uptick in the open items is due to several audits coming to a close in the previous quarter. Of course, internal audit will continue to work with management to address all of their corrective action plans. For agenda item number 8, this is internal audit status report for the third quarter, which reflects 3 audit closures. There are 2 new audit projects that are in the beginning phase, and also noted is the performance of the annual risk assessment, which includes valuable input from management and leadership. Internal audit continues to collaborate closely with IT, the cybersecurity team, and legal on special projects and investigations. For agenda item number 9 is the first quarter of the calendar year for our state safety oversight activities. All of those first quarter activities were conducted as planned. The state safety oversight audits interviews began the first week of May. Continued follow-up interviews and evidence review will commence and go through June and July of the summer. Continued collaboration with our state safety oversight agencies. Our safety department and management has resulted in the closure of 4 MetroLink and 5 loop trolley corrective action plans. There are currently 31 MetroLink, 13 bus and caller ride, and 15 loop trolley open caps or corrective action plans. Internal audit continues to collaborate with management and our state safety oversight agencies on those corrective actions for all those open items. These agenda items are presented for informational purposes, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Thank you. Moving right along, items 10 and 11, financial statements and the treasurer's report, also information only, will be Tammy.
Thank you. So financial results for enterprises through March. So starting with transit, loss before depreciation was $34.4 million and is covered by defederalized COVID relief funds. As you remember, all COVID relief funds were brought in last fiscal year. So revenue items to note is passenger revenue is down compared to budget, almost $2.3 million. It's also important to note that St. Louis County is using allocated defederalized funds to cover a portion of their funding in the current year. And interest income is approximately $8.7 million more than year-to-date budget. An offset to revenue is the savings from operating expense of 13.3 million. And some of this is due to timing, and we'll have more in the next meeting. So for executive services, year-to-date income was 4.2 million. This income is the result of administrative fees and interest income. For Gateway Arch, year-to-date income was approximately 2.5 million, and ridership is up approximately 31,000 riders from the prior year, and this is a 6.6% increase. For the riverboats, year-to-date income before depreciation was 717,000. We've had 56 more cruises than the prior year with 4,600 more passengers. And total expenses are 327,000 under budget, inclusive of 86,000, I'm sorry, in wages and benefits. For the airport, year-to-date income before depreciation was 204,000, and this is in line with budget. For Freightway, we have a year-to-date loss of 88,000, and this is also in line with our budget for FY24. So for March 31st, for our funding, or for our funds, by-state directed funds were 471 million with an average rate of return of 5.03%. And by-state trustee directed funds were 49 million with an average rate of return of 5.08%. And to mention the fuel hedge, we had realized gains of 938,000 at March 31st. Year-to-date cost of fuel per gallon with the hedge is $2.41 compared to our budget of $2.85. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions?
So just to hear it right again, so we're down on the transit, did you say 39 million?
Yes.
But we've spent 13 million less in operating funds for the transit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Than our budget.
And some of those items are really due to timing. And an important part of this is that St. Louis County is using a portion of the COVID relief money that we have here to help supplement that budget. So that is covering those losses that we're seeing on the financial statements.
Gotcha. Talby, do you think maybe in years to come, what happens if this continues? Will the county have the money to cover that, or have you been in talks with them?
Yes, sir, that's right. So both the county and city FY25 meetings are set for the second week of June. Of course, how each individual jurisdiction uses their COVID money is kind of, we left that option to them. So St. Louis County elected to use it for some of their operating portion in this current year. The operating, however, in St. Louis County is supported by their self-taxing initiative. So even though they substituted those monies, they used it in some other budgetary needs. So we are still supported by the self-taxing initiative in St. Louis County. We have a good budget projection, and I am optimistic about the passage of that. But they wanted to take that benefit in this current year. Obviously, that's their decision. Each jurisdiction has taken that benefit in separate ways. St. Clair County, obviously, using through Illinois allocation, the expansion. And then the city of St. Louis using some of their allocation in the Green Line project development phase. All of which good use. So
yes,
we do look pretty good.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? And let the minutes show that Commissioner Moore has joined. Thank you. Moving along, I believe is item 12, Treasury Safekeeping Quarterly Review. Back to Krista.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Beach. Item 12 is Internal Audit's Treasury Safekeeping Report, review of the safekeeping accounts. We did determine that they exist and the respective balances, credit ratings, and fuel hedging is stated fairly for the Treasury Report ending March 31st, 2024 that Ms. Tammy Fulbright just presented to the committee. Collateral posted by PNC Bank in conjunction with FDIC insurance is sufficient to adequately collateralize BSD deposits at the PNC Lead Bank.
Okay.
This is presented just for informational purposes, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Any questions, comments? Thank you. Item 14, Tobby, any unscheduled business? If not, you can move along to 15, your report.
Commissioner, I believe that you skipped over item 13, the procurement report.
I think I've missed Tom a couple times before. Sorry, Tom. Procurement report, 14.
Thank you. The procurement report for the third quarter of fiscal year 2024 begins on page 140 of your committee packet. The first component is the non-competitive procurement trend for the third quarter of fiscal year 24. Non-competitive procurements for the quarter totaled to just $8.1 million, or 1.8% of the total purchase order volume of $443 million. As we saw earlier this year, because the contract for the new light rail vehicles posted in this quarter, there's an exceptionally large amount of spending accounted for in the report, greater than any quarter in the past 10 years. When we had our March committee meeting, we were still not quite to the end of the third quarter, but this is a follow-up with the final numbers. As a result, the rolling 12-month average of non-competitive procurements has dropped to 3.8% of total procurement spending during the past year. The second report is the procurement card transactions for the third quarter. There were 2,011 procurement card transactions totaling $780,101, or an average of $388 per transaction. There were no confirmed procedural violations during the third quarter. The third report is a list of contracts over $100,000. The largest of these was $390.4 million for our new light rail vehicles. It should be noted that these vehicles will be paid for over several years, even though the expense is reported entirely in this quarter. And then the final component of the procurement report is the contract modifications report. The modifications involve service additions to existing contracts, the exercise of option years on previously approved contracts. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
There you go. Any questions for Tom? Thank you. Now, Tobby.
Okay, I have no unscheduled business. Can I go directly to my report?
Please.
Very good. So, and that just a very brief, again, I just want to reiterate that we do have with a meeting scheduled with Tammy, with both the county and city leadership to move in the next phase of FY25. Those meetings are on June the 6th and June the 11th. So we're going to be moving. We're going to be pressing hard, though. I'm going to be asking Tammy to work very hard in getting that through. But we've really built those relationships really well over the last several years. They tend to be very cordial and detailed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mara, future dates, dates for future meetings, please.
Yes, our next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held on Friday, June 21st at 8:30 a.m. The next Safety and Security Committee meeting will be held on Thursday, August 1st at 8:30 a.m. We have the next Operations Committee meeting on Friday, August 16th, beginning at 8:30 a.m., followed by the Audit, Finance, and Administrative Committee on the same day.
Thank you. I need a motion at this time that the committee go into executive session for the purpose of discussing legal, confidential, or privileged matters as permitted under Bi-State Development Board Policy Chapter 10, Section 10.080D1 Legal, and D10 Auditors. I'll need a motion. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
and Commissioner Beach.
Yes.
The motion passed.